Yo, what up guys, it's Renan, and I'm going to be doing a VOD review for a Gold 1 player who sent in a VOD. I know I haven't been doing them very much, but I want to get back into VOD reviewing people in Valorant, so let me go ahead and start with this VOD here from a Gold 1 Astra player on Lotus. One thing I can already tell right now is you have 2 smoke, right? And they do as well, actually. This is a weird game. Gold 1 double smoke on both teams. What the hell are we playing here, bro? Anyway, so if you have 2 smoke, you want to be tricky because you can basically use smoke on one site and with one controller. So if you're Astra, you can like fake smoke C and then have Brim smoke A. And you can basically play around pulling stars back, faking out the enemy. They don't know where you're going to hit because you can smoke one site and then hit another site with Brim, who will smoke the other side that you're actually hitting. So I want you to be tricky this game, and I think as an Astra player, you should be thinking that too. I want to be tricky, or if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, because you have Brim, you can use basically all of your stars for denying or taking sight very efficiently. So, for example, you're going to want to smoke Heaven, maybe, what do you call this? Dugout or drop, whatever the hell. And then Brim can do that. You could smoke Stairway here, and then you can use your other 2 stars to concuss backside and then maybe suck mid site as you're hitting the site. So let's go ahead and see what you do here.
Guys, we lost.
You pull back a star, which I don't really think you need to do on pistol round, but
Enemy spotted A.
It's fine. You definitely should be smoking Stairway here. Like, one of you should. Pretty much every time you hit A, you want to be smoking here, because if not, you're going to get peeked. You might get peeked as you're pushing, and then you die. Yeah. You just get peeked here, no? Okay, you got lucky, but... And then you still have 2 stars here, right? Like, you could be smoking Stairway and concussing or sucking mid-sight. You could be doing so much with your utility. We're not going to talk about that Brim smoke. Like you have so much of your utility that you didn't use at all. I mean, this good round. Your team kind of just popped the hell off, but you basically didn't smoke and you didn't use any of your utility. That could have been really bad. That could have been really, really bad. Let's see what you do again. I'm okay with smoking the cross here because your Brim can smoke sight for you. You should definitely be pulling back the star off rip there before peeking. You kind of peek before you pull back the star. Again, not smoking Stairway. Look at, you didn't smoke it first round, you almost died to that fade. Second round, you don't smoke it, and then boom, you get punished for it. And then again, you're not using any of your utility for taking sight. Like, imagine that you had a suck right there on the jet. You force him out into the middle of sight as you're pushing. Instead, he kind of gets a weird peek out of mid and just kills your jet and almost kills you. This is a very losable round now. Your Reyna has the bomb as well. Oh man, this is so rough. You still have utility. If you dry peek this, I'm gonna be really disappointed. You have 4 stars right now, by the way. Your crosshair placement is on the ground as well.
I have the spike.
Oof. Okay, that is very rough. Yeah, let me go ahead and put some notes in real quick.
Taking that back.
Okay, again, you're peeking before your star comes out. You need to be smoking, man. You need to be.
Right there.
Look at how you guys are taking. You guys have double controller. And Brim actually lurking here is fine, because even if he dies, you can smoke. But you really, like, you have double smoke here. You need to be smoking or, liberally, because you have Brim to smoke whatever site you're taking. So you can, if you want to commit 2 smokes on A, even though you're not hitting it, go for it, because guess what? You have Brim here. And you haven't smoked Stairway here, so they could just keep peeking you as you're pushing. Look at that! Look at that! Okay. This is why it's really hard for you to push. Why are you afraid of peeking? Because look at how many angles you have to peek. Now, there's one guy here, which is unfortunate. But because they have the Viper smoke here, maybe you should have sprayed it, knowing that one of them could have lurked into the box. But either way, like, imagine if it was a normal game here. The people that are going to peek you are either going to come from sight or are going to come from stairway. So by smoking the stairway, you basically can isolate the fight with the guy A main. So okay, so imagine this guy shot, you're like, okay, cool. You actually see all three here, by the way. But imagine you saw this guy here, right? And you had stairway smoked, boom, you could isolate the fight on the guy who's using a marshal. But then instead, you're getting like, you're just fighting three people as you peek. You get a lucky kill there with the ghost. Because you planted the bomb, you really, really, really need to smoke. That way you can get to B. You're basically playing DM.
80 on chamber.
You're basically playing DM with how you're playing. Because I don't think you've used any of your utility. You actually saw him B, by the way. You actually saw him B. What is everybody doing here? Yeah, Viper's on Spike. If he defuses it here, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. And because you're playing Astra, what good Astra players will do is put a star kind of off center of the Spike. That way, if they tap the bomb, you can pull them off the bomb. Basically stalling for time. Very losable. Yeah, you're not using any of your utility, man. Every round, I want you to be using your utility. Every single round. Oh, I think we got a little lag spike here. We just peeked, that's fine. You need to be smoking for your team as well. Like, if your team is pushing and you're a controller, like, I don't know what you and Brim are doing here. You have double smoke, and yet nobody's smoking on either of you. Neither one of you are smoking for your team, and there's two of you. Okay, Brim actually smoked now. But a general rule of thumb, like, if you notice your team is pushing here, like, let's go ahead and take a look at the minimap. Okay, you're going A. Look at you should be looking at your minimap whenever you're in cover and you're not afraid to get peeked. Like, here you can't really look at your minimap, but when you're like here or pushing up before you peek, you should be looking at your minimap and saying, okay, look, we have a lurk coming from C, and we have two people on B right now. I shouldn't be fighting this fade. I should tuck and then put my stars and smoke for my team here. Like, right now, I would be tucking and smoking. Oh, man. And you're not calming with your team, so you really have no idea what the plan is. You guys are all just kind of going every which way and have no plan.
My ult's ready.
And then Brim.
Nice try.
I mean, that was. You need to be calming to your team as well. Like, what are we doing here, team? Like, are we gonna go C? Can we hit C quick? There's no comms. Your entire team. Look at your team. 2 are C, 2 are B, and 1 is A. Nobody knows what's going on. Hey, look, dude, where are the smokes at, man? You've had like 4 rounds now. Now it's on the 5th round. You haven't smoked or used any of your utility. Like, if you're going for a fast C hit, I want you to be smoking quick, dude. Just put them down. And your Reyna's planning in the open, you need to be smoking waterfall as well. You need to be smoking, bro. You're not playing DM. Putting stars extremely late. You need to be smoking off waterfall. If I were you here, I'd probably be playing off my utility. Got a kill there. But like, you might think in your head, like, oh, I'm getting a lot of kills here, like maybe I'm pulling my own weight. What is my team doing? You're not really giving your team any room as a controller player because you're not smoking anything. Either you or your Brim are smoking, and you guys are kind of setting up your team for failure. Because when I'm like playing Initiator, when I'm playing Duelist, if my controller player isn't smoking, isn't using their utility to concuss sight or a stun back sight, things like that, then I'm bound to fail because I don't have the necessary utility to push on sight. And as you climb higher and higher in the ranks, you're gonna come into a point where if you're not using your utility right, you're literally everybody on your team is going to get one tapped. They're going to be opping. They're going to be posted up in crossfires and playing off their utility, and you're just going to get punished over and over and over and over again. So you really need to be thinking about using your utility. And as a controller player, you should be watching pro players like Nats plays controller occasionally. I don't know about Astra, but he does play controller. But you should look at pro VODs and see how they use their utility. But because you have a brim, like I said before, you're going to have to wing it a little bit. And you might need to play a little bit different than a normal pro would because you have two controllers. And like I said earlier, because you have two controllers, you can afford to bait with your smoke, and then your brim can smoke the site you're actually hitting. So you need to be tricky with double controller because you don't have a sentinel, you don't have flank watch, so you got to be utilizing your double smoke. Really late smoke. If your team's already peeking, don't even do this. You need to be smoking stair, bro. Look at your freaking Jet is trying to smoke for you. The Jet, I mean, he failed miserably, but he's trying to smoke off stairway. That way you guys can hit. And then look, you haven't smoked, you haven't even been putting stars on the map, bro. You're literally just playing DM.
Plant the spike.
And honestly, you're kind of baiting your team because you're always like fourth one on.
Face your fear.
So you're basically just getting free kills by the hard work of your team dying to, you know, because they're pushing, they're gonna die because they have no smoke. They have to peek 3 angles at once, and then they die, and then yeah. Yeah, I just see a pattern here where you're not using any of your utility to help your entries, bro.
Enemy spotted. A.
Look at your entries are just they're in panic mode, bro. I would be too. If I'm in this game, I'm getting one tapped because I have to peek 3 angles at once. Yeah, look, there's a guy just stairway posted up every round, and they're just fighting your team. I don't know what the harbor is doing. Yeah, you can't isolate any fight here because you guys are just struggling. Your brim has a lurk. I would be, if I were you here, I'd look at him. No, he's about to die. Never mind. The lucky kill there. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this round, kind of, because I can already tell, like, you're not using any of your utility. And now that you have ultimate here, you could try to go C, and if you're like, now that you have your ult, you should be thinking, okay, how can I utilize my ult to win the rounds? You can go A and try to like wall like heaven off and stairway off, and then smoke off the little drop area, or you could go C and then try to wall off like CT, put a star back site where my mouse is at right now, stun or suck the back of site here, maybe put a concuss behind the little pillar in the middle of site, and then smoke off stairway or waterfall. There's a lot of utility combinations that you can use to basically get the site for free. And as you start pushing into higher ranks, like if I'm playing against a high immortal Astra player, they lurk a lot because they don't have to be anywhere near their stars to put up a smoke for their team. 2, they're going to be using a lot of their stars every round to help their team push onto site. And you're not even smoking for your team, so yeah, you definitely need to be thinking, I want to use all my utility on every buy round. I want to be using every star I have, you know, every star I have, because that's how you win the round. You help your team with utility, help them get into fights, that way you're not kind of just baiting your team. Because at the moment you kind of are, like, you're always in the back, which is fine because you're a controller player, but if you're going to be in the back, you should be playing off your utility. And again, you're putting your stars up, like, again, I want to point this out. I don't want to be a broken record, but look at what happens here. Why is your team dying? Oh, do they suck? No. Look, they're getting peeked from 2 angles, one on backside on the left, and then somebody's peeking them from drop. What does that mean? That when they peek this angle, they're peeking into 2 people and they're bound to lose the fight. It's not that they're playing bad, it's that you're not doing your job to help them isolate fights on site. Like, imagine you put a star backside to suck the fade, and then, or the Viper, whoever's back there, and then you had a smoke on drop, that way the Jet couldn't even peek here. So not only are you stopping the Viper from peeking and making him vulnerable and sucking him back sight, you're smoking off the Jet, and you're making this take a lot easier. So look, you're not using any of your utility, you're just baiting your team. And you're really just getting kills because the enemy team has such a player lead on you. You're getting free kills from them playing like gold players, if you know what I mean. And they're not playing, like, they have such a player advantage. They're just giving you kills for free because, I mean, why not? They're Okay, now look. Okay, finally you recognize. Okay, I'm gonna put my stars down for a hit.
There.
Finally. Oh my gosh. Honestly, you don't even need to star here. You can use your ultimate. You can ult all of B off. Your brim is smoking terribly, like awful smokes. He's giving him a lot of free space with his smoke.
Obscuring vision.
Your brim is kind of trolling, but I mean he's a gold 1 player. Can't expect him to really know what to do.
Right there. I'm watching here.
Okay. If I'm you, I would be putting stars on the bomb like you were going to do and be playing a main. They don't have a smoke available. What does that mean? That if you play a main, there's no way that they can smoke you off and defuse the bomb. So you could just be playing off of your brim because your brim is going to get contact. If they peek you, they're going to be having to peek at a main. And then if they swing wide, the brim is either going to get a free kill or they're going to fight brim. And then you could peek off brim's contact and get a free kill yourself. And again, bro, you have your ultimate and 2 smokes. And the way you play it is you're just in the middle of the open. And then you just die for free.
One enemy remaining.
A shot.
There.
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip that around. I like that you used your utility, but you didn't play the post plant right. Let's see how you died here actually. Okay, let's see what you do here. Skip a little bit. Okay, you're putting stars down. That's all good. You have your ultimate. You need to be using your ultimate every time you have it. You need to be thinking, how can I use my ultimate to win the round? Oh, you guys didn't peek that. That's unlucky. That's unlucky, but you guys should have been peeking that for sure. Okay. I think I've pretty much seen enough on the attack half. Let me just put... Okay. Now let's go into the defensive half here. And we can see what you can do here. Honestly, if I were to rate your attack half, I'd give you like a 2 out of 10. Like, you were killing people, but you were kind of baiting your team. You weren't really smoking for entry. Your team was just getting like hard trolled because neither controller players are really smoking. So we're gonna go into the defensive half here. You're buying a ghost.
Heading to the above.
Okay, you're using your utility now. Nice, I like that. You kind of left B open, but I'll give it to you. I mean, B isn't a very a site you normally take on pistol round. Funnily enough. But remember, you don't have a sentinel player, so what is going to happen on your defensive half if they know what they're doing? They're going to be trying to lurk and find an opening in your defense because you have no way to basically get info on a lurk. Okay. Your team isn't calming. A, look. You should be look right here. Look right here. B. He's typing B. You should be smoking, bro. You need to be. He's not calming, but I'll give you. I know it's kind of hard to look at the chat mid round, but you probably should have heard them running at B already before you even peek this angle. Use your utility, my man. I want you to be smoking here. I want you to stun or suck on bomb, and I want you to help your team push. You're just playing DM, my man. You're just playing DM. But if in DM you just baited your team. Okay, you know 2 are upper. You need to be calming to your team. 2 are upper B. I'm just gonna skip that round. That round's over. We need to be using our utility. Yeah, I can already tell. I think the main reason you're having issues right now is that you're not using your utility to help your team. And you might think, I'm playing well, look at my KD, but you're not really playing well. You're just your KD is so high because your team is dying to the enemy and not looking at you, and you're getting free kills. Again, bro. Done. Smoke off. I kind of want to skip this round too because it's kind of a throw round. I already know what's going there. Your team is on a weird buy as well.
Need that back.
Trying to skip forward. You're on a double flank. You guys, if you know they're rushing, I would knife out run. You need to help your team quick. You should be starring and smoking off tree and a main, and then fast running. But you're not using any of your utility. And now that they have bomb, you need to be smoking off both sides for them and maybe putting a suck on a main side to prevent them from pushing your team. Because like imagine you had smoked for your team and then put a stun, your breach wouldn't have died. And then now look at your jet. Your jet is trying to get peeked from two sides because you weren't smoking. Like, this round was so winnable. And you're about to get another free kill because you kind of baited your team again. I know I'm kind of being harsh, but like, I know I'm not the best player. I'm only immortal. You know, there's a lot of people who are better than me, but your util usage is like iron tier. I'm gonna be honest. Probably iron players could have better util, bro. And then look, now that you have to peek into people, look at how quickly you get taken out. It's not that your team is playing bad, it's just that you're not helping your team push. And when you are put in a position where you have to take a site with no util, you of course get put down like that too, like your team is. Again, you're not using any utility. And okay, I wanna go back here as well. Like, if you see your team is trying to fight a main every round, then try to think like, how can I help them push? Like, maybe get on mic and be like, okay, I'm gonna star and then suck off rip. You guys push down a main, breach, stun a main. I'm gonna suck a main, and then jet, breach, and Reyna, you guys rush down and try to get some picks while we have their utility. Like, you should be using your utility to help your team push aggressively as well. I don't know, like, I think the lack of comms and the lack of utility usage is really the main reason you're losing here, because the enemy team really isn't doing anything that good. Their utility usage is literally just better than you guys, so that's why you're losing. See, I'm basically gonna skip every round you don't use any utility, because like, you're kind of gifting the enemy team right now in terms of aim, but that's not how you play Valorant. You know, you're playing BM. You're not playing comp game, you're playing. Look, and then you just baited your jet again. You get a free kill. You get a free kill on the jet because your jet tried to push out and he just dies. Look, we have no info on A. I think your breach AFK'd. Your breach AFK'd.
No!
Look at how late our smokes are coming out too. That was good. That was actually really good. Now, if only you could have helped your team from dying by using your utility to help them fight. And you have your ultimate again. Yep, all your utility and your ult, dude. Okay, I think I'm gonna end it here. I think I'm gonna end the VOD here because I kind of feel like your team is trolling. And yeah, I think the main thing I'm gonna take away from all this is that you're not using your utility to help your team push. You're not smoking, you're not concussing, you're not using your ultimate. What ends up happening is that for all your team trying to entry, again, they're not using their utility well either, but it's gold. And you don't really need them to. If you simply smoked off for your team and stunned and then helped your team push, I guarantee you this game would have been a steamroll. just by the sheer fact that you're basically taking a site for free, because Astra is actually really strong if people try to default on site. Now, as you get higher in ranks, using your utility as Astra might be a little bit harder because, you know, people are playing a little bit more tricky and not playing default. But at this rank, you can really just punish people hiding on site and doing normal default plays. And yeah, I think mechanically you're probably better than gold, but your utility usage and positioning and things of that nature are like iron. I'm not gonna lie. And I think if you learn to watch pros and you learn from them, you're gonna probably climb to diamond. Maybe. I think your crosshair placement can use work too, but I'm pretty sure you can get diamond if you just practice your utility usage and help your team, you know, push. But hopefully this helped you. Hopefully I wasn't too mean to you. I don't want to be like really mean, but I think as somebody who's played, you know, knows how to play Valorant a little bit better because of the rank, it's really like apparent to me, like, oh my gosh, the lack of utility and decision making and things of that nature are just hurting your team so much. And I think you submitted the VOD because you had a high KD, but a high KD doesn't indicate that you're playing well. And I think your KD was only high because you were like fourth one on and kind of just baiting your team. But anyways, I hope this video helped you, and thank you so much for watching.